Okay, here we go. We're live, pal. This is weird. First time ever I've ever been live, done a live stream ever. We're here on CM42 TV and we're live, folks. Very exciting. So nobody's watching at the minute, but I'm not sure anybody's going to actually watch. However, I do know how these work. We're going to treat it like a video, like a an actual video that I've uploaded. Well, I've got no viewers but one like, so that's interesting. So we're going to treat this like an actual video because obviously to say I'm live, to see if anybody wants to come and join. So I am live for the first time ever on CM42 TV, talking all things hashtag, get the hashtag in there, Backlash 2018, just Backlash. Come, come, come join, come chat. There we go. ... And then what we'll do is we will tweet the link. Uh, we'll tweet the link there and see if people want to come and watch. If they don't, then that's fine. Because obviously this is going to be posted later, hopefully as a normal video. So I'm just going to treat it like a normal video, and if anybody comes and watches now, then fab. So we're going to talk Backlash, I suppose. I was going to wait to get a few people watching, but then if no one watches now, then I'm just never going to talk about it. I have water. We have Kirkland spring water, the cheapest water you can find. There's like a good couple hundred here that we bought out of Costco. Great deal. So let's see if anybody comes and watches. If not, then it's no big deal. I can just post this later. Because I understand the time of the day. It is 5 to 8. I've just had the Nando's, just had dinner. I suppose I'm going to go on the screen because then if there's any people chatting, no one's going to chat, but you know. We'll see what happens here. So, Backlash last night. Let's talk about that because if you're watching this on demand, you're going to be sick of hearing me waiting. And again, this is like normally like the mellow thoughts videos and stuff, which are genuinely just, you know, a couple minutes long or whatever, or 10 minutes long. So I don't know how long this is going to be. There's no point just, you know, on and off sort of thing. But yeah, Backlash last night. Like this I don't know. It's just weird. It's like making a normal video. This is how I'd make a normal video. However, there's something added onto it. There's more in line. I'm more nervous. Because anything could happen. We're live, pal. I'm skeptical. What do I do? Did I just talk about stuff or what? Yeah, there we go. Backlash last night. It was very interesting show, yes. And feel free to share your thoughts if you're watching live. So let's genuinely just do this as if it's a normal video. So last night was Backlash 2018. First time for Backlash. It was the first double branded pay-per-view that we're going to do, which is total false because the greatest Royal Rumble from Saudi Arabia, that was both brands, wasn't it? Obviously, because they had to fill 50 people. I didn't make a video about that. I was going to, but I never got around to doing it. We're quite late on the day here. I actually almost never managed to do this, but I do enjoy just giving brief comments about the pay-per-views after they've aired and stuff. And you know me, I'm always very positive about this sort of thing. I always love the WWE pay-per-views. I'm always raving about them and saying, no, this was a bad match, but at least this happened. And I'm always looking for positives and stuff. And I'm always looking for the best parts of the matches to try and make them sound better than they actually were, I suppose. But this one's a bit of an odd pay-per-view because it's kind of hard to defend in some ways, you know. There was a lot of bad booking decisions, and I think it's gone down as one of the worst received pay-per-views in the history of the business, I think. It's just I've not heard one good comment, other than, you know, the first match was good, you know. Everybody's saying that they didn't like the whole show. So that's pretty much my consensus as well. I didn't particularly enjoy the show at all, which is bonkers for me, because I genuinely love, you know, most things that they do, most pay-per-views. Every pay-per-view I always talk about being good in some way. I can find something I like about it. And obviously, you know, we can't deny the first match, the Intercontinental Championship match, The Miz and Seth Rollins, was very, very good. It was one of the best matches of the year so far, and that's the truth. It was, you know, the crowd was so into it, and there was false finishes, and there was good selling with Rollins' knee and stuff, and both guys have just got amazing chemistry. There's like Rock and Austin level of chemistry, which is obviously good for the match and stuff, and it makes the IC title mean a little bit more. I think both guys have done a really good job, especially Miz, because he's held it since, January? I think he won it at the Raw special, beat Roman Reigns. You know, they've made the title at least mean a little bit more, you know, than it has been in the past few years or months at least. So this match helped, a great deal. But you can't kind of build a whole show. You can't say a whole pay per view is great just based on one match. That's the issue with the issue that we have here. So that was a great match. I really enjoyed. It was a good opener. Got the crowd going and stuff. It's just a shame that the rest of the matches weren't as good. And I thought Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss actually had a pretty good match. It was better than the WrestleMania match. I thought it was Nia Jax was throwing her about the place and taking control and stuff. And then Alexa trying to get the win every so often, but then it ultimately fails. I thought Nia Jax took a nice bump off the top rope when Alexa pushed her out of the ring. It was like, whoa, oh my god. So there you go. And then if like your best match is your first match, it's just all downhill from there. It's a little bit disheartening. It's now it's so bizarre talking about this, like saying it's such a bad show when some of the matches on the show, because looking at it before we started, watching the show, looking at it on Saturday or Sunday afternoon, you're thinking there's no way this show's going to be bad. The card had potential to be one of the best pay-per-views of the year or whatever, and I mean, I guess some of the matches kinda, were feeling like big matches, but it's just there was something off about the show. I don't know what it was. Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy, a match from my childhood, that I was really excited for, just ended up being pretty boring. We had a rematch kind of from the Money in the Bank cash in with Carmella and Charlotte, which is arguably a big deal because it's a title match and it's the first one that Carmella's done after she's cashed in. And then you got Big Cass and Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan's first singles pay-per-view match since February of 2015. Then you got the WWE title match, which we'll get to in a second. Roman Reigns and Samoa Joe having these great, these promos back and forth and stuff. Total like crazy. That this pay-per-view didn't live up to the hype. I'm gonna check the link and see if it takes you to the live video. Yes, it does. It's just all new to me. I'm just seeing if it works. There we go. Boom. It does work. There we go. It's not as good quality, but I'll deal with it. So if this goes well or whatever, I can do this more often. Just talk about stuff live, pal. Right. So the thing that annoyed me the most about this show, is not the fact that AJ and Shinsuke didn't go on last. I know that's been a big pet peeve with people. They wanted to go on last, and it should have gone on last because it was the title. But then, of course, hindsight being 2020, I just got a fucking software update come off my phone. I'm doing a live stream here. Remind me later, please. The title's on the line here, so surely the title's got to be going last, surely, because it's the title. However, with hindsight being 2020, we now know the finish of the match. The finish wouldn't have matched, the actual thing that happened, so if that was the last match on the show and then that was the finish, that would have just made the show even worse than it was. But the thing that annoyed me was that it's like WWE don't understand why people don't like Roman Reigns, right? And it's not because we think that Roman Reigns can't wrestle. I think we're past that now. It's 2018, for God's sake. We all know he's a good wrestler and stuff, and personally I love Roman Reigns. He's one of my favourite wrestlers. But this is the sort of thing that annoys me, because it's almost as if WWE just don't know, that they just don't know why people don't like him. They just think that, they're just all silly. They have no idea. They're just clueless wrestling marks and all this. When that's not the case at all. We're beyond the point thinking that he doesn't, do a good job and he can't sell and he's not good at promos, because all these things have gotten so much better over the past few years. The reason people don't like Roman Reigns is because the way that he's kind of not shoved in our throats, but the way that WWE treat him, just because he's a special character because he's Roman Reigns. For example, the WWE title is online in a big rematch that people are really interested in seeing, but that can't be main event because Roman Reigns is on the card, and people boo Roman Reigns for that reason. That's why folk don't like him. And it's almost as if WWE don't understand that. They don't get why folk boo him. They just think, oh, well, it's just because they're silly and they don't understand that he's a good wrestler. Where this is the thing that people don't like, This is the thing that annoys people, because that he's made to look like more important than everything else, than everyone else, and even the championship, and even this rematch, and even this stipulation. And it'd be different if, the Joe and Reigns match was like last man standing, or it was for the Universal title. But the fact that it was just a normal match, it just didn't make any sense to put it on last when you have such a big built-up match like Shinsuke and AJ. Don't get me wrong, the Joe and Reigns main event, the match itself was built up really well. Joe's promos are great. Reigns is, his bitterness, not being able to beat Lesnar, but he's actually the uncrowned champion, but Joe just thinks he's making excuses. A good build to the match, and it would have been fine to go on last, if there was something more on the line. If the title, for example, if Reigns had won the title, which I think he should have done at the Greatest Royal Rumble, I just wish they'd put the fucking title on him, then that would have been fine, obviously, because it's a title. Or even if there was something a bit more important on the line, it's just a random Reigns match that you're going to put on, after the title to make the title mean not as much, But then, of course, there's the finish of that match. I suppose we could have lived with it. The fact it went on last, it went on after Roman. And don't even get me started on the finish of the match, because it's just that they've taken this thing that everybody was genuinely so excited about, and they threw around the dream match thing far too much. It just became like a kind of a parody of a dream match by WrestleMania. But it was like, at one point we were thinking AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura at WrestleMania. That is a dream match. And they've taken it, they've just totally, I don't say ruined it, because they're two, obviously, the best wrestlers in the world, and their matches are really good. It's just they've completely gimmicked it, and they've ruined the endings. And my issue with silly endings like that, like countouts, double DQs, low blows, refs, bumps, things like that, is when you look back on these matches in a few years, or even a few months or whatever, you don't remember the match being good. You remember that thing. Oh, great match between AJ and Shinsuke. It's just a shame about the finish. Oh, that was that match at Backlash. But remember, it was a double count out. Like, you can't just enjoy the match. So I sent out a tweet. I was quite vocal. I don't normally, bash WWE at all, especially not on Twitter. And I tweeted, and I quote by CM42 at CM42TV. Obviously, I'm enjoying watching Shinsuke and AJ wrestle. However, I do get annoyed when these great matches are somewhat ruined and disregarded due to silly finishes. I know it's for story developments, but I just want to fully enjoy the matches. That's all. Hashtag WWE Backlash. So it's like you just want to sit back, and a big part of enjoying the matches is how well they're received in the long run. We can't just go the next day, oh, what a match that was last night, because the match is disregarded because of the finish. The finish immediately becomes more important than the match, the wrestling, the wrestlers, and the title, just because the finish was silly. So that kind of annoyed me, but it's no big deal, I suppose. I'm assuming they're going to have another one, but it gives Shinsuke no reason, to have another match unless AJ wants to fight him some more stuff. What do you do now? A no count out match? It's going to be a cage match, which takes away from the great wrestling they're going to have. Why can't it just have? When I think of feuds or rivalries, sorry, that these things happen where it's like the title can switch between them, and there's numerous matches for the title. And there's some screwy finishes, but the majority of them is just pinfall or submission finishes. The first one that comes to mind is Randy Orton versus Christian from like 2011, I think it was. Yeah, 2011. They had like 4 or 5 title matches that were all superb, like so good. All 5 of these matches, the title switch between them and stuff. There was one screwy finish, and that was at Money in the Bank, where Christian won the title via DQ. But the stipulation was that he could win the title, so that was the finish, and that was accepted because the title was on the line. And a double count out and nothing happens to the title, it just totally doesn't work. When the title is on the line in this capacity, where it could get lost via DQ, a count out, whatever, then it's okay. Like, for example, if AJ got a bit angry and low blowed Shinsuke, but the stipulation was that if that happened and Shinsuke won the title, that would have been okay. It's just because that wasn't explained or anything. Which is a shame. So like Orton and Christian had it. I think Punk and Daniel Bryan had it at one point. They ended up having like this no DQ match that people didn't want to see. They just wanted to see Daniel Bryan and CM Punk wrestle. But the no DQ match was so expertly done, and there was a clean finish, and it's storytelling, and they were selling, and it totally worked, and it was almost better than their just traditional wrestling match. So I just don't know what they're doing with AJ and Shinsuke here. I don't know how they can screw this up. AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura, they had this match in Japan that everybody was talking about. Imagine we saw that in WWE. It's now happened 3 times, and all 3 of them have been totally underwhelming, because either the finish came too soon, was a double count out outside the ring, was a DQ, was a, you know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know what you do with it. Like, do you make it a cage now? Do you make it a street fight, which is just the same as a no DQ match? Falls count anywhere, something like that, and they will do that. It'll be fine. They can even make it a ladder match, but then you get 3 ladder matches at Money in the Bank. I don't know what you do, but I mean, they could easily just move Shinsuke out of the title picture and put Miz with him, or put whoever with him, Joe or whoever, with AJ, that is. you know. But we want that classic, you know, that fulfillment of having Shinsuke and AJ's rivalry come to a head, have Shinsuke win the title, or even just have AJ retain, but in a proper way. Like, yeah, of course, they won the title, you know, or retained the title cleanly at WrestleMania, but it was one Styles Clash. It was like 15 minutes in. It was like a kind of an anti-climax, you know, and I was fine with that because seeds were planted. You know, there was more to come, you know, and there was the Greatest Royal Rumble match, which was really good, but then ended poorly. This one last night at Backlash, which was a really, really good match, and it just ended silly, you know, and just it kind of disregards the whole match, and it's just a shame because, you know, we were so hoping this match was going to be great, and it just wasn't. So, other than that, you know, there's nothing even to talk about for the rest of the show because there's nothing, you know, at all important other than the Elias segment was quite funny, but just again, it was just there was no needed to be there. Reigns and Joe was a pretty bad. It would have been different if the match was really good. It was a bad match, you know. There was something off with a tag match with Owens and Zayn and Strowman and Lashley. I don't like these are four huge megastars, especially Strowman. He's going to be the man one day. Hate to break it to you, but I'm going to make a video all about that. How I think Strowman is going to be the #1 guy in the company at some point. Yeah, there you go. I think that's all I kind of want to say regarding Backlash at the minute. Kind of more of a rant than a review, I suppose. I didn't want to rant about it because it's not as if it was ruining my day or anything, but it's just a bit frustrating sometimes when you want these things to be really good, and you know all the matches were built up really well and stuff, and it was had a lot of potential to be very good, and it just wasn't. So it's a shame. What other matches was there? Daniel Bryan, Big Cass was fine. Big Cass tapped in like 2 seconds. Alexa Bliss apparently got hurt. I don't know how serious that is. Whatever. Do you know what I mean? Total whatever. But yeah, there you go. There's some thoughts on Backlash. Coming later this week, we have another installment of people creating themselves in WWE 2K18. Someone who is very familiar with YouTube or with the YouTube viewers, but maybe not so familiar with the podcast. Their episode is coming up this week. And I'll also have another flashback video posted at some point this week as well. We have a recording session of the next episode of The Good Bit happening this week. So it's going to be all about Avengers Infinity War. So that's going to be good. I'm looking forward to getting on that and getting back at the podcast because it's been far too long. It's been a while. Until next time, folks, thank you very much for watching, whether you've been watching live or whether you're watching on demand or whatever on CM42TV. You can follow me on Twitter at CM42TV. Leave a comment, let me know what you think, and subscribe for more because we're closing in that 1,000 subscriber mark, which is ridiculous. Until next time, folks, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later. Now, how do you turn this off? I have no idea. How do you turn it off? How do you stop recording? I have no idea. Let's figure this out, shall we? I'm sure it's this here. Boop. Okay. Yeah. I think it's time to go. Yes, it is. Peace.